So
I'm going to go here.
Turn on some lights. I can't.
So did you guys have any, were there any questions you guys had on this lesson? Particular questions on the prep assignment or the homework assignment?
I haven't finished the homework assignment yet, but the prep assignment, I think that the thing that I kind of got hung up on was a hard time remembering my, you know, like a negative sign and how that changes things. Anyway, that's always my hang up, or just those stupid little mistakes that kind of will put me off.
Gotcha. Like when you're doing your work, or you mean when you're using the applet?
When I'm doing my work. And so, I mean,
gotcha.
I end up with, you know, I don't know. Anyway, I have found that I need to be more, more precise with, I noticed it on,
gotcha.
On number 3B, because it was the Z-score was a -255. So that kind of, I don't know, it just changed everything, like the multiplication. So that was
for sure.
I felt like I needed to work on. So.
I actually kind of, I really didn't, because we got to learn in like some of the previous lessons and like kind of tied it all together, which I kind of liked, because I was like, oh, I remember doing this, and
yeah,
I don't know. Even though it is kind of a lot of like tedious work, but yeah. I kind of like this lesson.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had a question. Mine was kind of more on the homework, because I would keep getting answers wrong, but lots of times it asks for like the probability of whatever is going to be less than whatever. So you think on the applet that you choose to the left. Well, the answer was the left and the middle filled in. Or if the answer is greater than this number, then you fill in to the right, but the answer is to the right and in the middle. And actually, that was on the homework quiz. I got 2 of those wrong, because I picked to the left or to the right, because it asked for less or more.
I think I just ran into that with a question on the homework. Oh, where is it? I think, I don't know where the question is now, but I know that same, I get that same thing where I'm not sure, does this include the middle or just the sides?
So like, how do we know when we got to do the middle? Because when it comes to the test time, we're probably not going to have 2 chances like we do on the quiz.
I think if the Z-score, if they want to know what's less than something, if the Z-score is negative, then it's just what's left of that. But if the Z-score is positive, then it has to be left and the middle. Does that make sense?
Or do you mean right in the middle?
No, if they want to know what's left, what's less than, say, a Z-score of 1.5, you would have to shade both what's on the left and what's in the middle in order to get everything that's left or less than Z-score of 1.5. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does make sense.
Okay. Say it again. I think I need to hear it another time.
Okay.
I think I'm following you, but I just want to make sure.
If your question says, what's the probability of getting, what's the probability that you would get if the Z-score was 1.5? You would have to shade there'll be 2 sections below 1.5, right? There's the middle, and then there's the section far to the left. And that would give you everything below 1.5. If it just says what's the probability of getting less than negative 1.5, then you just do what's to the left of the negative 1.5. So you really have to watch the negatives or the positives on the z-scores to know where to put, what to shade.
So
So,
go ahead, Erica.
well, so I was just going to say what really helps me when I'm doing that is because I was struggling with that. But the z-score as like a reference point on the app. So if whatever, like when we're trying to find the z-score of a number, that z-score that we plug into the applet is a reference point. If it's going to be greater, if we're looking for greater than, whatever number they give us, we have to find the z-score first, right, to be able to plug it into the applet.
Mm-hmm.
If it's anything greater than that, you'll just go to the z-score on the applet and highlight anything that's greater than that red line that you typed in. If
Right.
it's less than that, if you want less than that, you'll go to the reference point on the applet where the z-score is, and you'll highlight everything that's to the left of that red line that goes straight through it. So it kind of helps me to use it as a reference point.
Yeah.
So I know that's the number that I'm doing.
I get that part. I think that the thing that I don't, I struggle with knowing when to include the center with either the left or the right.
So anything, like any part of the graph, like if it's wanting it greater than the z-score, and you plug the z-score in as a negative on the far left side, middle, and the right side, you'll do everything to the right of that red line. Then, let's say a positive number in the z-score, you'll do the middle and the left side. Everything that's less than that, below that red line of the z-score that you typed in, is see it. That's kind of how I view it. Does that make sense?
That's the way that I do it.
Now I need a problem to practice.
Yeah, that's kind of what I think too.
I want to try it again.
Okay, do you want to do one of the homework problems?
Well, I don't know if there's one on the homework that tricked me, like on the homework quiz. The homework, I think, was straightforward for me, but the quiz was, those two questions were a little different.
We can't get in and open our quiz and look at the questions yet.
Maybe there will be one on our quiz.
What was that?
Maybe there will be one on our group quiz.
Oh yeah, let's.
Oh, maybe.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Are we jumping to the quiz?
Yeah, we might as well.
Okay.
This is
Are we on lesson 7?
lesson
Yeah.
7.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Sorry.
James, can you close that door, please? Thank you. Okay.
All right. Are we all on
Number 3.
number 3?
Yes.
Okay.
So,
You guys want me to read it?
yeah, go ahead.
Sure.
3 says use the normal probability applet to find the combined area under the standard normal curve that is to the right of z equals 1.358 and to the left of z equals negative 1.358. Round your answer to 3 decimal places. Okay, so
I have 0.175. Is that right?
sorry, 1 second, just getting there.
I have 0.826.
I have
Great.
0.175.
Yeah.
What if
Okay,
you,
so what did I do?
what numbers did you put in for the z-score?
Just the 1.358.
And which areas did you shade?
To the right. Probably the wrong ones. Let's see.
So it should be both sides that you shade.
Okay, just to outside. Okay,
Yeah.
there we go. Okay, 0.175.
So,
Yeah.
Because we're rounding.
so it'll be point 1, yes, 0.175. Do you think when it says the standard curve, do you think it means
What point this is just the standard curve. So that's what we're finding on all of these is the area under the curve. So
Right.
so that would just be the left and the right side?
yes. Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, so 0.175.
Yeah.
Okay, next question says, which of the following will have a smaller standard deviation if 9 observations are randomly drawn from a population? The distribution of the individual observations, the distribution of the sample mean, or this cannot be information given.
You're always going to have a smaller standard deviation with the sample means, if I understand correctly.
Okay.
Because of the law of large numbers, right?
What was that?
The law of large numbers.
No, this one's separate. Let me see if I can find it. I think it was
Okay, so
6, but I'm not sure.
I have in my notes, I think you're right, Jennifer. So I have in here that this is dealing with the spread. And it says if the standard deviation of the population, let's see, the standard deviation of the distribution of sample means is going to be smaller by 1 divided by the square root of n.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? So the distribution of the sample means is smaller. Because do you remember how we divide the mean of all means by
The square root of the population.
distribution divided by the square root of n?
Mm-hmm.
So then that would mean that the distribution of the sample means deviation will be smaller because by the square root of n.
Mm-hmm.
But
Take that.
isn't that because of the law of large numbers? Because the more times you do it, it decreases the standard mean deviation.
Well, for this question,
I think we did talk about the law of large numbers being related to the spread last time. So, I mean, if that's the case, then I think it would kind of be related. But I do know that the law of large numbers has to mainly do with the sample mean drawing closer to the population mean when the observations become larger.
I thought the law. I think that's the theorem, the central limit theorem.
I think the law of large numbers is related to the size of the sample, like whether you have a sample of 5 or a sample of 100. And this isn't. This is independent of the size of your sample. So I don't think this has anything to do with the law of large numbers.
Okay.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
so for me, when I think of this question, I think of it like, so the sample means all of those are going to have an average, right? And they're all going to be pretty close to what the mean is for the whole thing. So the distribution of the individual observations, those could be anywhere.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so the sample means are going to be very close, meaning that they'll have a smaller standard deviation. That's what lots of these things I have to literally like draw a picture in my head about each thing just to make sense of the question. So that's my reasoning behind it.
Okay.
Okay.
So I think it's the sample means one.
I agree.
Okay.
Okay, it says which of the following results implies that the spread in, is that referring to the sample means?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Decreases as the sample size increases. So would that be the central limit theorem? Because the sample size becomes larger, so the sample means, no.
I think it's the law of large numbers,
Wait a minute.
because this is
Yeah, it's
talking,
not the central limit theorem because we're not talking about shape.
this is the spread.
Mhm.
Yeah, so it would be the law of large numbers.
Right.
Man, I keep getting those two mixed up. Okay.
They're giving us a lot of this on him, huh?
I didn't hear you.
They sure
What's
are
that?
they're giving us a lot of practice on those questions, so I think it's probably going to be on
The central limit theorem
Yeah,
is
I think you're
the
right.
important concept in statistics. So
Mhm.
I think that it's good.
Yeah.
Okay, question 6. So scores on the quantitative portion of the GRE are approximately normally distributed with a mean of 150.8 and a standard deviation of 8.8. Diane earned a score of 160 on the quantitative portion. What is the z-score corresponding to her score? So let's plug it in.
I got 1.045.
Yeah, that's what I got.
Sorry, give me 1 second. Got a behind start here. Just want to make sure I got the same thing you guys did. What did you say you guys got?
1.045.
Perfect. 0.45. Okay, next question. So the z-score equals 1.045. Next question is, what is the probability that a randomly selected student will score above a 160 on the quantitative portion? Round your answer to 3 decimal places. Okay, so on this one, we'll take that z-score and plug it into the applet.
Yeah, so I have 1.148. Is that, am I using the applet right?
That's what I have.
Okay.
Yeah.
Correct. 0.148, that's right. Okay, number 8. A random sample of 5 students was selected to take the GRE. There's their scores. What is the z-score corresponding to the sample mean of these students' scores. So we have to find the mean of that first, right?
Yeah. I have 800 divided by 5, so 160 is what I get. Is that what you meant?
That's what
Yes.
Okay. So it's going to still be 9.2, right?
What's going to be 9.2?
9.2. I'm sorry, 1.045.
No.
Will we use the same standard? Well, I think
It's
so.
the
That'll be the new mean, right? But then we'll have the standard deviation will be the same.
well, except for that, it will be divided by the square root of 5, right?
Right.
So z equals
8.8 divided by the square root of 5. Is that right?
Yes.
So what would so the mean is 160, the standard deviation would be 8.8, but what would x be in this case?
So it's still going to be the mean is still going to be 150.8.
Right.
So it's going to be 1
Oh,
minus 150.8. So it still is 9. That's 9.2 divided by 3.93 is what I have.
Okay, say that
I
again.
see. So they're not wanting us to use the new mean. Okay.
So I get a z-score of 2.3.
That's what I got.
Okay.
Okay, that's not what I got. So what does your equation look like?
So mine is 160 minus 150.8 divided by 8.8 divided by the square root of 5.
Okay.
So I get 9.2 divided by 3.93, which equals 2.34.
Okay.
I suppose 2.341 if we have to round to 3.
Okay.
I've got 2.338 to round to 3. But that's probably because I just did it all in one big long thing instead of.
Yeah, maybe. So
that would make a difference. Let me do it one more time. Yeah, I've got 2.337707. Da 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 da.
So let me make sure. Let's see.
So 2
divided by.
I got 2.33502 and so on.
I got 2.338.
Oh no.
That's what I got, 2.338.
So ultimately, is it 9.2 divided by 3. What was it? 3.9. I guess I probably shouldn't round early on, should I?
You shouldn't round at all if you can help it until you have the answer.
Okay.
Just round the answer if you can.
Yeah, maybe that's what
Okay.
So what part of the applet do we shade? The middle?
This particular question,
I don't think
we're not
Applet.
shading we're not using the applet because we're just looking for the z-score.
All right. Okay, so
Okay.
2.338. That's what I'm putting.
Yeah.
3.
I'm sorry, Erica, what did you say?
For the z-score for number 8, 2.338, is that what we agreed on?
Yes.
Mhm.
Okay, perfect.
So now we put in the 2.338.
Oh,
Yeah, and they want to know the probability of getting a greater score than that. So we'll shade to the right.
So, wait, 0097? Is that what you get?
Yeah.
So 010?
No, she says actually on this one she wants 4 decimal points. So we'll just put in 0097.
Yeah.
Okay.
0.0097, yeah.
All else fails, read the instructions.
Okay, are we on question 10?
Yeah.
Okay, so now we have the mean GPA is 3.5. Sorry, I'm writing this down now as I'm going. The standard deviation is 0.7. It is well known that the distribution is left skewed. A random sample of n equals 81 will be drawn. What is the shape of the sampling distribution of the random variable? Let's see. Yeah. Do I substitute that when I'm reading it for sample means? Is that what?
In the,
I'm confused about that. I don't
Or
know.
I just say X?
they just say bar X.
RX. Okay.
Bar.
RX, which represents the sample mean of the 81 students who were selected. So what is the shape? So isn't it because it's large that it would be approximately normal?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. What is the mean of the distribution of the sample means for all possible samples of size 81 that could be drawn from the pin? Round your answer to 1 decimal place.
So that will be the 3.5.
Yes, it will be the same. Yep.
Okay.
12 is what is the standard deviation of the distribution of the sample means for all possible samples of size 81 that could be drawn from this parent distribution, or from this parent population.
I got 0.078.
I'm having a brain cramp. Why can't I figure out
I am too.
deviation?
So you'll do the standard deviation divided by the square root of n. Is that what you had, Jennifer Ward, too?
Yes.
Okay. Did you get 0.0777777?
Yes. So 0.078.
Yes.
Yeah.
Did you guys see how we got to that?
No. So
You kind of have to go back to, what was it, lessons
well,
5 or 6?
what are the numbers that you're using?
So when you're finding the standard deviation, you'll take the standard deviation that was given to us, which was 0.7,
Uh-huh.
because we're wanting to find the standard deviation of the distribution of the sample means. So we take the standard deviation and you divide it by the square root of n.
Okay. But and that's it? Just the standard deviation by the square root of n?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yep.
And that was in lesson 6. That question's kind of going back to lesson 6, but it still kind of wraps into lesson 7 when we're dividing by 1 divided
Okay.
by the square root of n.
Like 0. And how many decimal places? 7, 7, 8.
Three.
7,
Yep.
0, 7, 8. Okay, sorry.
Oh, you're fine. What is the probability that the mean GPA for 81 randomly selected students will be less than 0.3? Okay.
I've got 0.0051.
That's what I got too.
What did you guys get for your z-score?
I got a negative 2.571.
Perfect. Okay. Sorry, that's kind of the point where I'm at right now.
That's where I am. 2.57.
2.571. And we're wanting to know if it's less than negative 2.571, right?
Yeah.
So 0.0101.
The 3 decimal places. Wouldn't it be 0.005?
Oh,
Less.
whoops! I
Yeah.
have that little guy highlighted. Yes. Sorry, I didn't realize I had the far right portion highlighted.
It's easy to miss when it's so small.
Yeah.
It was so tiny I didn't even see it.
Yeah.
0.5 is what I have.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this is 3 decimal places.
Yeah.
Yes.
005. Okay, I'm with you.
Okay, 14 is what is the probability that the mean GPA will be greater than 3.3?
Okay,
So you guys, this is a good example of when you highlight the middle and the right,
okay. Or
if I'm right.
Yeah.
or you would just subtract 1 from 0.005, right?
Yes, you could do that too. So did you guys get 0.995?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gosh, how many questions are there? Oh, this is the last one.
Oh man, okay. The United States Coast Guard assumes the mean weight of passengers in commercial boats is 185 pounds. The previous value was lower, but was raised after a tragic boating accident. The standard deviation is 26.7 pounds. The weight of a random sample of 48 commercial boat passengers were recorded. The sample mean was determined to be 177.6. That a random sample of passengers will have a weight that is as extreme or more extreme, so either above or below the mean, than was observed in this sample. Note, as extreme or more extreme means that we are not only interested in values that are lower than the ones we observe, but also values that are as far away from the mean as ours in the positive direction.
Okay, I'm going to have to reread this, I think, myself. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm confused.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so the mean is 185. So do you think we would find the z-score with x being the 177.6?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
Okay.
So the question is, find the probability that a random sample of passengers will have a weight that is as extreme or more extreme.
So then,
First of all, what did you guys get for your z-score?
I got minus 1.920.
that's what I got too.
Okay, me too. So now I'm just wondering if we plug that.
If it's both
In-
the sides and not the center.
That's what I'm wondering. But does it want to? That's what my first instinct would be, I think, is to pick the two extreme ends.
That's what it sounds like to me, because it says not only interested in values that are lower than the ones we observed, but also values that are as far away from the mean, which would be the upper, the 1.920 without the negative,
Yep.
positive direction.
So do you guys have 0.055 then?
That's what I've got.
Yeah.
Is that making sense to everyone?
That's what I think.
I didn't
I
get the
do
right
too.
score, so I'm
But-
a little bit lost.
I guess the thing is that the only thing is that the 177 pounds is less than one standard deviation.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
So
Are you saying, like, would that be extreme?
well,
Extreme, kind of?
so that the random sample of passengers will have a weight that is as extreme or more extreme, it seems like it would be much higher because it's less than one standard deviation away.
I think when they say extreme, they're just talking about,
The outliers.
yeah, the ones that are further away from the mean, they're extremities. Does that make sense? They're far away from the middle. And
Yeah.
that's what they're wanting to know, is that extreme and more. So Jen, what numbers
Yeah.
did you plug into your formula to get the z-score?
Well, I had 177.6 minus the 185,
Mm-hmm.
and then divided by 26.7 divided by the square root of 48.
Okay.
Yep.
That's right. So it must have just been a calculation error.
So what
Well,
did you
and I-
get for your Z-score, Jen?
Not what you guys got.
I would just try your math again.
What kind of calculators are you guys using?
I'm using
Science
my
one.
iPhone.
Really?
Uh-huh.
Texas Instrument.
Is it a scientific one then, Erica?
It's not fancy. I mean, I've had like it's not like graphing calculator status. It's just kind of, you know, I just didn't know how to phone. I was using my phone before, and I didn't know how to do a square root, so I went and found this calculator that did square roots.
Do you have an iPhone?
Uh-huh.
So, you know, if you just turn your phone, I don't have my thing up. So if you turn your phone sideways, it gives you scientific.
Oh my gosh.
So 2, and then the square root of X is just the square root button. So
I
if
didn't
you-
know if you turned it sideways, there were all those options.
Yeah.
So
Holy moly.
does that have the option to do parentheses? Because if you use parentheses for the top and the bottom and stuff, you don't have to like.
Do it multiple.
Yep.
Yeah, I guess
Yeah.
it does have parentheses. I just haven't used it. So I'll
Okay.
try that. Maybe let me try that on this one. So, what's the 177 minus 5?
So do you think we just shade the two outer portions or what?
Yeah.
I think so. I'd be happy to submit it if you guys want me to, and see what happens.
So did you guys put 0.055?
Yep.
That's what I put.
All right, guys, I'm going to submit it. Is that all right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks, Erica.
Hold your breath. We got a 17 out of 17.
Okay. It's just those.
You rock.
Woo-hoo. Hey, and just so you guys know, the homework quiz has a couple, in my opinion, like kind of tricky worded questions. Just kind of make sure you double check your math on some of them, and that you read it kind of reread it over again, so you kind of understand exactly what they're looking for. Just to kind of heads up a little bit.
I think
Okay. So I'm going to stop the broadcast. See my mouse here.